Peace and blessings be upon you all, guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode. We are the Baraka Boys, the Baraka Boys podcast. And if everyone could say a quick, I don't know, hello, awkward wave to the camera. I don't know, let's do what you want to do.
What's that one that they do?
That's what the kids are doing these days.
Isn't that what the Queen does?
That's a Queen does. I thought we were doing that.
Millie Rock.
Millie Rock. We know about the kids these days.
I don't know how to.
And then Millie Rocks. Today we're talking about men and women, their interactions within the Muslim community. A very hot topic. What a lot of people want to know. Don't really have a lot of information out there. It's more maybe cultural influence as to what's good, what's wrong. What does Islam have to say about the matter? What should we as Muslims in the 21st century be doing? How should we be going about interacting with men and women? I'm just going to kind of throw it out there. How do you feel it is in today's society? I'm going to throw this one to you. How do you feel that...
I don't like starting.
You're going to start this one, you're going to come out strong. How do you feel Muslims, men and women interact? Is it cool? Is it flowing? Is it very awkward?
I believe, because I can't really say Muslims as a whole. The only ones I can, based on the ones I've like.
Your experience of the Muslim community.
My experience of the Muslim community is the fact that they are very awkward when it comes to the opposite sex, because I don't know whether it's based on the fact that they don't interact with them from a very early age. Like obviously I went to all boys school, but before that I was like interacting with girls. I have obviously like sisters. You know what I mean? Shut up. But then it's like I feel like because we've. And what happens when you do that, when you resist people, like you see it when girls aren't allowed to like go out dating, like when they go uni, sometimes they can just go wild, city girl summer, like do you know what I mean?
You're trying to say when girls are living a repressed lifestyle.
When anyone lives in a repressed lifestyle, you're naturally going to be more inclined to go towards
that.
What
say? Repressed?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Repressed is the right word.
But you're repressing your sexual desires.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No, I wouldn't say sexual desires, because sometimes you're like, because you've made this thing, like I think Muslims, they make this thing of like, oh, like, well, Allah says like this stuff about the women and how they're, and they make it out there's some devilish beings that when you see them, it's like, well, if I'm in the same room, it's like, I must want to have sex with you, but it's like, no, that's not how we are.
What about the other way around though?
What, men with women?
Women and their interactions with men?
I feel like it's also the same. Maybe not. It's not like but it's that awkward like.
You don't know how to have a normal conversation. It's
it's like scripted and it just moves.
Because I guess at the back of their mind, it's like, this is haram, this is haram, this is haram, end it. And it's like this guilt. And it's like, because they know we're going to have a conversation, in the store, and obviously we're going to end up having sex by the time we walk out. Like, that sounds stupid, but it seems to be.
I think from what I've always grown up believing or was being taught is that, there's always the risk of something happening between a man and a woman, because a man is attracted to a woman is attracted to a man.
No,
and so
it was good. Carry on.
So this is what I've been taught. So you don't even want to have that risk of anything happening. But then the older I got, and the more interactions I had with females, I realized that you can.
They didn't like you.
They didn't like you. So I wasn't into it.
So I wanted to reinforce it. Like, we should not do it because the girls don't like me anyway. Which is an interesting point.
I feel like it just speaks to the cognitive dissonance of Muslims because we live in such a hypersexualized world. And everything is sexualized, Our adverts, our TV, our movies, our music, everything's sexualized, And what you find is that Muslims act like they're not a part of the society. So what you find is that people are being hypersexualized beings. All they can think about everything is sex, and then they're kind of converting that or translating that to when they see women now. Okay, now I must be so awkward around the woman. Now I must be like, oh no, this woman. What happens in turn is all you ever see a woman as a sexual being. You can
that's her only role.
That's her only role.
Yeah.
So it's even like this concept of woman-male being friends. Forget even friends, because that's another topic in and of itself. But interaction. She's messaging me for this. It means she wants me. And I find that's very problematic.
And even like outside of a religious context, it's very common that girls, I think, when they're being nice, like a guy with no game would just be like, oh, she's flirting.
Exactly.
She's just being nice to you.
Exactly.
And if you've not had a lot of interaction with women, and then you're just going to think, well, she's flirting, so now I need to, I don't know what.
But on the other side, I think it's the exact same. Like I feel like especially like the it feels like a certain pressure that men has, or like a spotlight on us right now. Like we can't even be. Like generous to girls or like whatever, because like it's he's only doing it for this. It's like no, like you're not that bad.
It works both ways.
And going back to what you said earlier about when people say you only use it for the sexualization of the women and stuff. It was more so a thing. No, what would you say? It's something about blaming someone. It's like you have certain people in the Muslim community. How like when people have also looked at us, and it's like, oh, you're doing this because you're trying to have like sexual relationships with a woman. I can't remember the point. About the thing of.
Let me say the point.
The opportunities.
Yeah. If you're a guy and you ain't got no game.
Yeah.
And there's a rule out there that you shouldn't interact with women, it's not going to make a surprise that you're going to be like, yeah, let's reinforce this rule.
Yeah.
Because I can't get women anyway.
Exactly. and then you try
to push a leap in logic to
and you try push that as the narrative, meaning like, yeah, you can't interact with women. It's like, no, you don't have the opportunity or the ability to interact with women. So don't try push this pious card. You have no game. Anyway. So it doesn't. So
because I've never seen like a really good-looking brother out here like, yo, we should talk to women.
That's what I mean. Like,
and I maybe that's a bit petty. I mean, it was a bit childish of me to say, but it does normally seem to be that there's certain.
Socially awkward,
maybe
the ones that push this narrative.
Physically challenged, possibly like they're the ones that are like, yeah, we shouldn't talk to women anyway. Because
So now we're all.
I'm not saying.
Look.
Because I think
it's coming across as like, okay, yeah, we think that we're good looking and we have game, so therefore
it's not about being good. It's not about being good.
It's not about being good looking.
One thing you'll learn is women aren't like good looks is a fraction of why a woman is attracted to you.
Yeah.
I've seen guys that are not the best of looking. They've got game, fam. Do you know what I mean? Like that's your beard. That's what like carries them forward. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I think Khalid always says. Was it an axe murderer without an axe isn't a pious man? So if you do not have the ability or the tools, as for example, the axe murderer without the axe, you're still a murderer. You just don't have the opportunity to do it.
But that's arguing in favor of segregation.
No, meaning the guy who doesn't have the opportunity to commit zina, to stay away from women, to be pious. He doesn't even have the opportunity to do it. So for him to be pious and like, actually I'm going to be pious and not talk to women, it's like they weren't talking to you anyway.
So what I'm saying is, if you now put them in an environment where the quote-unquote free mixing is okay for them, that means that those types of guys will...
It's nothing about the environment. Even if you're in
No, because they're not getting the opportunity because they're shy. Like, the women aren't feeling them. They're not getting the looks of the costume. I don't know, whatever the signs and signals.
Are you saying that being harmless is not being virtuous? Just because a guy's harmless doesn't necessarily mean that he's pious.
No, you don't have the ability to cause harm.
Like a rabbit doesn't have the ability to cause harm. Doesn't mean the rabbit's a good rabbit because it's not causing harm, right?
No, because a rabbit in all capacities doesn't have harm, but an axe murderer without an axe possesses the capability, but he hasn't got the tools, meaning he's not been able to develop his game, he doesn't have the looks.
I feel like the minute we mention game, we're undermining ourselves straight away from the get-go, because game equates to there being a game being played. Are we speaking about
source game?
Maybe it's just having a casual discussion with a girl.
We're talking about the men.
So you don't come across
we're talking about the men. We're talking about the men that are real big advocates of segregation. Like, no women. This is this, and I'm saying it's not a leap in logic to think that they're the men that aren't receiving any attention from females anyway.
I don't think that's true. I disagree.
No, 100%. There's good-looking guys out there that are propagating as well. I'm saying it's not something. I mean, there are, of course. Let's not be silly. I'm saying it's not necessarily a leap in logic to then think like, why are you got so much energy with this situation? Where say as men that do receive a lot of female attention, obviously you enjoy it. You think, okay, is there a way that it could be a bit more normalized?
I think you have to look at the correlation between those who are the most vocal. So what you find on social media, again, so social media is a kind of indicator of anything. It's not the whole picture, but it's a microcosm of what's actually happening. Yeah. If you want to look at social media, I know the people that will always attack Fahad, for example, because Fahad is shining in the Asian community. Yeah, you will find that it's people with no followers on their account, or they have loads of followers, but they just like no pictures of themselves, and it speaks to something.
I think either they're insecure, they're extremely conservative. They grew up in extremely conservative families.
That could be one factor.
I don't think
that's the main factor. It shows that it speaks to but the thing is, nothing is ever one factor.
Okay.
Things are going to be more multifaceted.
That's true.
It could be conservative. It could be conservative. They could be insecure. They could be feeling like, why does he get attention and I don't? And the thing that hurts people the most is that
I don't really get attention, by the way.
What hurts people as well is that, but hang on a minute, I'm holding myself back. I'm doing abstention. I'm doing for the sake of Allah. I'm for the sake of my religion. This guy's clearly also religious, and doing everything I really want to do deep down. And that really hurts people.
Okay.
That's what, and then they make that the boogeyman and then chastise that.
Yeah, true. I hear that. So, what part of the religion are they getting this information? Because it's got to be somewhere. Like there's no smoke without any fire. Where are they getting this information from that men and women need to always be segregated? Even this the term free mixing, as most people know, it's not a term that's found in the Quran. I don't know if it's not in the Sunnah.
No.
Where did
I think
where
the
did it
main
come
one was
from?
the one that Fahad showed the picture of, around the Kaaba, and it's like, when I was like, well, if
Where's the
mixing? I was like,
if there's any a place to free mixing, it would be
No, but
here.
the thing is, where
does it come
I'm trying to look at the Prophet's mosque. Yeah, so we look at so the women prayed behind the men.
Yeah.
So much so, the reason why the Prophet even told them to make a bigger gap was because when the men were going into ruku and sajda, their testicles were showing, and the women said this because they were used to wear lungis and no underwear. And the woman said, Ya Rasulullah, in our prayer we see these men's testicles. So much so that when the men would in a hadith that come, when the men were describing the women, how to describe them? By their body shapes.
When men describe women in the hadith.
In the hadith,
yeah.
Fulan. Oh, she's dressed like this, she's curved like this. It's all in the hadith. So my point is that this ultra conservatism, forget that. Let's go to another hadith. A man, I taught this today actually, a man talking about, so we know when we have to do ghusl, how much of the penis enters the vagina. It's only the head of the penis, yeah?
Just the tip.
Just tip.
what,
No,
this
for
counts-
real.
This counts as zina?
No.
How much you need to do ghusl?
To do ghusl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
just the tip, yeah? Where does this come from?
So hold down.
No, where does this come from? A man entered the tip, put his tip inside of his wife, came out, heard the Prophet walking past. Ya Rasulullah, this just happened to me. I just put tip in, and the Prophet said how much went in. Only a tip went in. Oh yeah, you have to do ghusl as well.
So the tip means ghusl.
Yeah, but my point is that look how open-minded they were.
Just chill.
How do we know about what the Prophet say about the women of the Ansar? May Allah bless the women of the Ansar, because when they used to come with like jugs, of, like a bottle of like what would be equivalent of a period pad. I said, Prophet said, is this menstruation blood? Is this not menstruation blood? Prophet said, no, you can pray with this blood. You can't pray with this blood. My point is that, so where...
Look how calm he was about it.
My point is
you know
that
what I mean?
where is ultra-conservative? Look at even you know this squeamish now.
Yeah.
The Prophet was like, oh, this is fine.
I just don't like blood. I don't like blood. That's
My point is that-
no about
my point is that
women. They don't come
where
in the
did-
comment section. I just don't like blood. Carry
My
on.
point is that where did this ultra-conservativeness come from? Because the Prophet speaks. If you were to hear the way the Prophet spoke about him and Aisha do, we used to do ghusl together from one pot. When Aisha was on her menses, may Allah be pleased with her, anha, you'd find that the Prophet would instruct her to tie her legs so blood wouldn't come out, and he would enjoy her through, like her thighs. This is all in the hadith.
No!
Really?
On her menses.
Really?
Yeah, this is all in the hadith narration. So my point is that like.
Oh, who narrated that?
These are well known.
Yeah,
This is well known. This is very well known. So my point is that
They
like.
really try tell you that Islam is not lit.
No, my point is that I don't understand where this, even from and people who quote tradition, my point is that where are you getting this ultra conservative
That was my
nature
initial question. Like, because I'm saying there's no smoke without fire. Where is it coming from? To this point, I don't even want to just blame culture, because I don't think culture could just be like.
There is a lot of
Most cultures are lit, like, so it's like.
yeah,
I feel like it's a Western thing.
No, I think
it's
it's
a
not a
Muslim
Western
Western
thing.
thing.
Go on.
It's not a Western thing.
As in a Muslim Western.
It's not a Muslim Western thing.
Western
It's
thing,
something that's always existed in certain places and certain cultures. And it's just like how you have differences of how people pray and differences with how people, interpret certain rulings. There's differences between gender segregation. Yeah. So it's like you have a hadith where, for example, the Prophet ﷺ saw a group of men and women talking in the street, and then he separated them. Yeah. And he said, the women should walk on one side, the men should walk on the other side. There's instances in the Prophet ﷺ's mosque where he said, the best of the women's rows is at the back and the best of the men's rows is at the front. So you can see there's like an active move to try and separate them. But then you also see other ahadith where, for example, in the Prophet ﷺ's mosque, so there's a rope hanging, and he says, who does this rope belong to? They said, it's Zainab's rope. What does she do with it? And he's asking a man, what does she do with it? Oh, when she's tired, she holds on to it to pray. And they use this as a proof of, okay, well, this is why what you shouldn't do nawafil if you're tired. Someone really looked at that hadith and they said, but wait, hold on. The fact that the man knew the name of the woman whose rope it was, what she used to do with the rope, means that he could see her in the mosque. And the Prophet didn't chastise him and say, why are you looking at her in the mosque? Why can you see the woman? But it's a thing of they were in an open society. Or you have a hadith where women are collecting sweat from the Prophet's body. Or the Prophet is going with Abu Bakr and Umar, like in the tafsir of Surah Ma'un. Yeah. He goes to a woman's house to eat lunch and he's chilling with them and then they eat food and Or the woman that stood up in the time of Umar bin al-Khattab and corrected him in front of
or the woman that was picking out lies from Prophet's head.
That wasn't his.
That wasn't his mahram. It was a woman.
But would people not argue that the rulings of the Prophet
They argue that, but I think it's a very weak argument personally.
No, because it's like, what was he sent down for? Like, to be someone like, haha, you
best
can't
of
be like
examples.
me. Like, no, we meant to follow like you. So, however
So
many
I
wives
feel
you
like-
have, how many, that we meant to be following what you're doing. You see what I'm saying?
The
Like,
West is an exception. But but what I'm saying is like, so there's different ways that people have collected these seemingly contradicted hadiths and interpreted them. So there's some societies where they've said, okay, well, men and women should be separate, and the ulama have backed that up with what they've backed that up with. Like in West Africa, for example, now you see like when Ibn Battuta came to West Africa. Where's Ibn Battuta from?
North Africa.
He's from North Africa, right? He came to West Africa and he was studying. He was with Timbuktu. He was in Timbuktu and he saw like the qadis and the judges and the learned Maliki scholars of West Africa. And he was like, the thing that I was really shocked about was their interaction with women. They were free mixing. The men and women used to sit together and talk with each other. One day I entered a man's house and he was like the qadi, so he was the judge of the city. And he entered the house, and the woman was chilling with a man in the house. And there was probably other people, but they was chilling with a man in the house. And
That
then
was gonna be my question
he
about
said,
the
he said, what's going on here? And he said, oh yeah, this is my wife's friend. And she said, how do you allow your wife to have male friends? He said, well, it's part of our culture, like, and we don't see anything wrong with it. That's her friend, that's her friend. Do you know what I mean? And he's a qadi. He's well versed in Maliki fiqh. So for him, he's seen the rulings and he's interpreted it to the bit where they don't have free mixing. And we've all been to Senegal, we've all been to like Gambia, we've all been to Mauritania. We see how like men and women will be in the same room. It will be a respectful distance, but you see men interacting with women, women interacting with men, it's not that same. So I feel like
what was the context when the Prophet ﷺ split the people on that side of the road? Because I think that's quite strong.
It's a strong point, but my problem is that when you separate this is what the Maliki make a distinction between hadith and sunnah.
Yeah.
So you have the hadith which have narration, and the people taking narration. Like for example, the best example of this is if I was to tell you, give me 10 snapshots from Game of Thrones. In that time, you can even make it a horror, you can make it a comedy, you can make it very sexual. Depending on how you look at it, you're gonna give. And if I have that only to go on, I'm gonna say, oh, Game of Thrones is a horror.
Or
Game of Thrones is like this, a disappointment. Oh, Game of Thrones season, or whatever it may be. And that's people with the Sunnah. They don't take a holistic approach to the Sunnah, but they just take snapshots of it.
Yeah, this happened.
This happened. We must implement it. No.
Yeah.
What was the general practice? What was the normative practice of the Prophet? The normative sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The normative practice wasn't separating people.
Yeah.
The normative practice wasn't being ultra conservative, being ultra segregating the sexes. It was very like just natural society.
and we see that replicated in other Muslim societies, like in West Africa, in places in North Africa.
But
you know what I
in all
mean?
cases, or in most cases,
And in
like,
America,
say in West
actually.
Africa, you know, it's like it's this culture, like they can talk and chill, and it's a lot relaxed. Why would someone want to impose it upon themselves a harder way of like? Because obviously the information is there for everybody. Why would North Africa want to view it in a way of like, oh no, it's got to be like this because the Prophet ﷺ did this? So surely you'd want to make it easy for yourself.
But I don't think generally laymen look at the textual evidence.
I'm talking about
No, but
scholars
generally,
who have
think-
influenced the culture.
That's
It's
of
because of
jihad.
that tradition. If you grow up in a specific culture and that's the way your people have done it, you're always going to be taught the
outside
proofs-
of
the
religion,
proofs that justify what your culture
what you
does.
already do.
Yeah.
You're not
Okay.
going to find the proofs for otherwise, and if you do, you're not going to change an entire nation of people now.
And why I'm saying this is now an issue with us in the UK is because we have a way that we are in Muslim circles and then the way that we are in British everyday life. So it's like people will be out here saying, yeah, it's free mixing. And they'll go to uni in ISOC, they'll have curtains, sisters will be sitting behind, brothers will be sitting in front. But then when you go to their lecture, they're sitting next to Susie swapping notes.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Or you're on the bus and you're talking to people, or you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter, you're DMing girls. So it's like, where do you draw the line?
It feels like-
because, you want to get work, you want to go and apply for a job, a graduate scheme, and then you're being interviewed by a woman. And what are you gonna do? Yeah, are you gonna shake her hand? You're not gonna shake her hand. Are you gonna talk to her? You're not gonna talk to her. You're gonna look down. You're gonna look up. And it's like, there's this kind of schizophrenia that we have,
Exactly.
where when you're in a Muslim scene, you're going to behave like this, and when you're in real life, you're going to behave like this. And I just feel like
Do
that's a bit
different,
ridiculous.
do different
the whole-
situations not sometimes
I don't think so.
require
No, but this is what-
different...
because
what
I
I
hate
call-
And I
this
think
whole.
people have an
Unless you're praying
identity
Salah,
crisis
listen.
because of that as
Unless you're, I feel like unless you're praying Salah, like Salah, there's clear guidelines of men should be at the front, women should be at the back. Other than Salah, this whole concept of, well, it's an Islamic event, so therefore
Exactly.
the women should be behind the curtain in the corner next to the broom shed, and the men should be at the front. That doesn't make sense. And I've only seen this. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist in America, but like I did my UK tour, and I did my America tour.
I was like this. I knew it was coming up somewhere.
Beyond Bilal.
Beyond Bilal.
No, was it before Malcolm?
Before Malcolm
Critically
X.
acclaimed tour by Mustafa Briggs.
No, but honestly though, so it's like it was interesting for me to see the culture in America because like my first lecture in America was in ICNYU, right? And everybody's in a room, men and women. Men will be on one side, women will be on the other side, but generally it wasn't men at the front, women at the back. It was literally men were on the left, women were on the right. And I'm in the middle and I'm talking to everyone. Everything's going back and forth. I make a comment, men are talking, women are talking, da 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 da. Afterwards, everyone went out to dinner, men and women were there. And I was like, bruh, I couldn't imagine this happening in a masjid in the UK. Or I couldn't imagine this happening in an Islamic center in the UK. And I saw the same thing when I went to Atlanta. It was the same thing when I went to California in Isla. It was the same thing in all of these different places. And I feel like the Muslim community in America have gone beyond this whole thing of gender segregation, da 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 da. Not to say it's right or wrong or whatever. If women feel more comfortable in a segregated environment, that's their right. But like, look at the backlash that we got at the cave now. So like, we did an event at the cave. Men were on one side of the room, women were on the other side of the room. But because they were all in the same room, everyone was jumping on the Facebook saying this, that, haram, blah, 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 this place should be closed down, da, 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 da. And I could see that could never happen in America because America, they're so more advanced and they're like so way ahead of that.
And you know, with that, the funny thing with that is some people firstly were saying that, oh, it's not segregated, when clearly girls were on the left and guys were on the right. So if a curtain's not going through, does that mean that it's not segregated? Secondly, people were saying, oh, some of the women weren't wearing hijab. So then, does that mean you can't step out of your house and walk past a woman that doesn't have hijab, or you can't be in the classroom with a woman that doesn't have her headscarf on? That's the second thing. And the other thing about that is, do you expect us, people who don't know anything about the deen and they want to learn about Allah and the Messenger ﷺ, to come here as they are, or do you expect us, when they come to the door, for us to now start putting the scarf over their head and wrapping them up so they could... Do you think that they're going to get closer to Allah by us doing that? Of course not. So
I suppose this leads to the next kind of question. You can maybe chime in your answer with that. Is and I think we have different views on this table. Can men because obviously you're talking with men and women, you're going to develop a friendship, and you talk to this one more than you talk to that one, and you start to whatever starts, whatever doesn't start. Can men and women just be friends? I know this is quite a big topic, but just maybe going around. Do you believe that?
I think it depends on what you define as a friend as well. Firstly, we need to
and acquaintances
that
you regularly have conversation outside the line of business and.
I feel like men and women can be friends, 100%.
Do you reckon?
I feel like because I've grown up in a culture where men and women are friends, and it's no sexual undertones. There's no.
Can you say that though? Can you know that?
Not that I can say that or know that, but it's like, how do you know in 2019 your male friends don't like you too?
Could be.
So it's a thing where it's about the person. It's about the persons. It's about the person. Do you know what I mean? Or if you're a girl, do your female friends not like you? Because cases of that. So it's like, I think it's irresponsible for people to say, oh yes, well, because there might be attraction between this person and this person, therefore they shouldn't be friends.
It goes beyond.
That's ridiculous.
Like a mighty, like on the possibility, like 1 in 10.
So what I'm saying is like me as a Gambian, for example, yeah. Growing up in Gambia, you have men and women being friends, and you grow up in a society. Like my grandma has loads of male friends. When I'm young and I go to Gambia, she'll be like, "Oh, go and visit your uncle this person. Go and visit your grandpa this person," because they all grew up together. They ate lunch together when they were kids. They played football together. As time went on, this one married this one. This one married this one. But they're all friends. Do you know what I mean?
Does zina happen in Gambia?
Of course it does.
But
segregation is not going to stop that though.
I'm not saying segregation does, and I'm not necessarily for segregation. The thing is the development of a friendship between a man and a woman who frequently get together, talk about whether we're going to talk about Love Island, the politics, Can that run? And for my personal opinion, I know you say you're cool with it, and you guys are cool with it. The reason I don't think it's possible, because this thing of saying, oh, you don't know if there's any sexual undertones. It happens in West Africa. They're friends. That's cool. Or
it happens in the UK too. I've got female friends that I'm not attracted to them and they're not attracted to me, but we're female friends.
But if you were,
and if you were, then that's an individual. That's time for you now to reevaluate the individual friendship. But then to go on to say, oh, because this person
You
and
find
this
attractive.
person
So you're
have
saying
been
pe-
attracted to each other in the past, and therefore men and women should not talk to each
Have
other.
you ever met a girl that you
That's-
didn't initially like, and then through speaking with her, you then became to like her?
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
happens a lot. It happened to me a lot
But
of
at the
times.
same time, that's very true. But at the same time, I do have female friends where I know that it's not worth jeopardizing the friendship over.
But you're also,
And I
you're
hold
also a
myself
man.
back.
You're also a man, and you're not perfect.
Yeah,
so
of
on
course.
that day where
So
okay,
then that's why-
I'll
okay,
put
so
the heat
for-
on myself. On that day where I have this friend, I mean, I don't have any female friends like that. But if I did have a female, or when I did have female friends back in the day, on a day where in general I'm not really that attracted to you. I'm not trying to do anything with you. Cool. Boy, you catch me on that day when, you know, the weather's kind of hot and I've had, you know, a couple super malts and whatever, and then it's late at night and maybe we're talking. It could go there, and I'm a man. And the level of, and this is just being honest, the level, or maybe maybe you guys are different. It's women, it's a weakness, you know?
100%,
And it doesn't, I don't need to see Kim Kardashian for me to get excited. Like, you know, as guys, and again, we're being very open and honest here, there is the kind of the game that you play in school of like the would you game. And it's like, and it's normally you say a girl or someone in school or a teacher or someone who's not necessarily that attractive, but it's like the would you, and you're like, nah, yeah, cause, and then you'd probably, you'd mention.
So then, are you now saying that because of this, men and women should not interact in society?
No, that's a big leap. That is a very, very big leap based on what I'm saying.
way
But
too
the
far.
people that argue for segregation, that is the argument.
But
The
I'm
argument
against
is-
segregation.
No, I was
The
gonna say,
argument is, the argument
And I talk to
I
them.
think the thing- I think
I
the
take
thing
selfies
is,
with them. I
Khalid's
talk
not
to
saying,
them.
Khalid's not saying that. What Khalid is saying is that there's a massive
That's not what I'm saying.
between
What-
there's a massive difference between interaction, acquaintance, and friendship. Friendship is based on the idea of a mutual sharing of one another. You share your time with each other, you share your presence with each other, you share emotional connectivity with each other, you share your thoughts,
Characteristic, personality.
and you're extremely vulnerable with that individual. That's what a friendship generally is.
Yeah, well then, that's a risk, innit? I don't have female friends to that level.
So would you
I
say
do.
that? So you
and that's
do?
the
Okay,
thing,
cool.
and then that's the thing. Where,
Can you
where
have
the-
female
where does this come-
acquaintances?
And I think what
That's the
Khalid's
question
trying
I
to
want.
find, which is what I'd say, is that balance of like, you're not my friend. Like, it's not like fat like pally wanting to like share the same bed or whatever. Like it's not that deep.
I'm
And
never
you
going
know-
to come
you know what you get?
outside of my house to link
know-
you to do an activity
Do you-
together.
no, but you can.
'Cause
No,
that's a
but again,
friendship.
this is that's a
Unless
friendship.
maybe.
Would you go 8 with
Unless
your
you're
female
in a
friend?
group.
Would I
Maybe
go
in a
with-
group
Would you go?
setting.
Wait, let me
the
ask you a
thing,
question.
so
Would
the
you
thing
go 8 with a female friend?
Go 8.
Yeah, go
What?
8. You know what go ape is? It's like an assault. It's like
Yeah.
an assault course with trees. You climb
I
together.
think
I wouldn't go with my
But the
male
thing,
friends,
the
to
thing
be
is,
honest.
the thing is with me.
Would you go with a female
I think
friend?
I would personally.
Do you not feel like that's
But
a
the thing
risk?
is, the
He's
thing is,
single.
it just sounds
If he
better
goes with a girl and it turns into and they get married, Bismillah.
and I know, and
understand
again,
that,
no,
but does not
there's two things this links into.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
There's two things this leads into. One, the marriage thing about this, like how Muslims, they're always talking about like,
We'll get to that in a minute.
But no,
We'll get
but
to dating in a minute.
the next point is there are a bunch of guys I do not give a that
Sugar.
word.
Yeah.
Sugar. Don't give a sugar about it.
Sugar shit.
That they become friends with a woman,
Yeah.
and it's usually from these beta males. I
Okay.
know I looked at you then, I didn't mean it there.
I'm
That
very
they
secure.
become friends with a woman, and they think
They just
because,
wait.
because
They just play
all
the
they're
waiting
doing is
game.
waiting.
a
Wallahi,
shark.
all they are doing
As soon
is
as they
waiting.
smell blood.
And like, he doesn't even treat you right anyway. And it's like they'll try and this, and these are usually the men that try and take out. I'm not gonna say alpha males because it's a bad type of like this, like a masculine man. They try and like tarnish this image of the masculine man because they're not one. And again, it's when you bring down this man, so it raises your chances of getting with this woman when she's not attracted with you. I have a lot of females that I speak to. Again, this is like DMs and stuff. Like we just speak.
You're single, and you're
No.
looking for someone to get married to, Amar. It's very normal.
No, I'm saying.
You don't need to kind of hide it like, oh, I'm talking like,
no,
you want to
no.
get married at
I
some
just said a
point.
lot.
You know
Said a lot.
because I've seen you try to hide back like, oh, no, you talk to girls because you want to get married to one of them. It's very simple.
The point that I want to get to. with
No,
this
but it
whole
was-
thing
Depends
is-
on the conversation.
Can I
we're
just
having
say
as well.
something though? The point that I want to make a difference with is that there's a difference between, so like obviously Sharia guidelines, you're not meant to be alone with the opposite sex. You're not meant to be
What
like
a
you
great
and
law.
What a
somebody-
wisdom.
What a great
you
law.
and somebody else. You're not meant to be
Mashallah for
alone
Islam.
together, right?
Shaitan is just a...
And then Shaitan's the third.
And he really is. He really is. Because if you ever find
So
yourself...
how do you develop a relationship?
So then,
with,
wait. So then, at the same time, just because that is the rule, does that now mean that you should have no interactions with females whatsoever.
I don't know
because
where you're
there's
going
so
to.
many.
I was gonna say,
but
you're
there's
talking
so
to other
many-
people, not us here,
there's
right?
so not us here, but I'm saying there's so many people.
Because I agree with you.
There's so many people that's their argument. Their argument is men and women should stay separated because when a man and woman is together, then Shaitan is the third, and then they tell the story of the monk that was looking after the sister of the Barsisa,
great
and they
story.
have all these kind of things, and it's like, well, in today's society, is that really a realistic way for you to function and interpret your law?
No.
And then the fact that you're not even allowing people to know that there's difference of opinion, like free mixing, for example, is not actually a word in the
In English. It's not a word in English. It's not Arabic. Free mixing is where a DJ is on the turntable.
No, I'm
It's
pretty
not
sure
a-
I've heard it with like to do with food.
No, some with food and salad as well, but also free mixing as in when a DJ on turntable and mixing.
Oh.
That's free
it's
mixing.
not a legal
It's
term.
not English. It's not English
It's
word.
not a
Like
legal
the word
term.
reverb.
But it's not a Sharia term.
It's not a Sharia term. It's nowhere in the Quran. It's nowhere in the Sunnah. The Prophet nowhere forbid.
Yeah,
men and
so
women.
I think
it's
we all on this table agree that
Yeah, so we all
you
agree
shouldn't
that.
take
So
the
I'm
thing from
saying-
like, oh, because
So I'm saying now it's like the question is now, okay, well, where do you draw the line?
I think
you
it's
talk
quite
to-
simple.
can
Because
you-
I look at my own life, like
And
I know other women, like, and it's normally based through you guys. You know, I've kind of met them. Obviously, maybe if I'm doing a show or something, there's no kind of relationship that extends past that unless I was looking for marriage
No, but
purposes.
Khalid, what you're saying, it sounds to me, as almost like you're negating the prospect of a respectable relationship.
What-
that's his
let me
individual
carry on.
Go on,
A relationship
go on.
between men and women. I'm just thinking of my time at university, for example. Yeah, I had female colleagues. Yeah, who at night, like all nighters, would just do work together in the library and stuff. Yeah, and we were pretty cool. Maybe like 6 a.m. open, the canteen opens, we get food together, and then we go back to do some work.
I would argue
No,
your time would be better spent with male if what you're doing is studying. And in fact, no, sorry.
Oh, the girls are smart. This girl was smart.
Hey, take it back. That's cool. You want to do that together in a group. I chill with other females, normally when I'm with you guys, yeah? The whole thing, and we all agree, a guy and a girl being alone...
Can be quite problematic at times.
It's haram.
It's haram, yeah, it's haram. And I agree with that, and I see the thing. Group friends, going all cinema together, going eat.
No, that's fine.
I think it's all cool. The problem is when you, Aisha, you're my friend. Like me and you got this thing going on. We both like this and and then we gonna take this further in a environment outside of the group. That is where I say no. That ain't going down like that.
I think the thing
No,
is,
unless you're looking
it's a
for
balance
a
between.
relationship.
Oh yeah, no,
No,
unless you're like, hey, I want to get to know you better. I'm trying to marry
No,
you.
but it's a balance between respect and not being naive. That's what I kind of see it as. For example, yeah,
But some
there's
people
no,
aren't
there's,
naive.
Some
there's,
people
no,
don't-
there's
some
no, there's
people
no
don't.
doubt. There's no doubt you're gonna have sexual energy between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
That's always present. Whether you're in a group setting, it's gonna be
So
present.
Not if you're not
attracted- you got-
not if you're not attracted to that
initially.
person.
No. Let's keep it 100%.
I was
I
gonna
know
say,
girls
'cause again-
I was not attracted to in the beginning, but spending time with them,
Thank you.
like
Okay,
friends,
personality
personality,
and
and,
this-
and you start thinking,
you're
you
negating the
start
whole-
thinking to yourself, no,
it's current.
you start thinking to yourself, rah,
Would I?
this could, oh, you know what, yeah, this could work, innit? And then
Okay.
after, and it happens even a moment
Aye,
or a
that's
bit of a
fair.
moment, that
I
happens, yeah?
accept that,
But I'm saying that,
sure.
again, that's when I balance the respect time. For me, if I've had a relationship with her for over 4 or 5 years, I know to myself, I'm not going to jeopardize this.
Because there's boundaries.
But for me, anyway, from what I found.
But not everybody does that. And
Yeah,
so-
I agree.
But the question that I have now then is, knowing that there will be that sexual energy between the two people, now if you're married, would you still be okay knowing that your wife can have a male friend like that? Having a male friend, like, knowing that this is what's going to come of it. Because I think, Briggs, I might be wrong, but did you say earlier that even if the guy and the girl, there is an attraction there, they can still be friends or no?
I feel like, number one, yeah, you have
Because
to
if
know,
that's the case,
number one,
I knew
feel
that my
like
wife was attracted to this guy in the past and he was attracted to her. No way can they be
yeah.
friends, man. You mad?
Single, but I feel like single people and married people, it's a different case.
Okay.
Because there's things that you do as a single person.
I think
that you can't
as
do.
you as a Muslim,
Just-
as soon as you get to that point, it's like actually I think just go do it, go about it the halal way. As soon as you want to be a little, and you be like, oh, I like her, but I'm not gonna marry her though. I just want to kind of. Then you're
then you're playing.
No, then you're wasting
You're a
time,
waste
and
man.
you-
At
I was
that
gonna
point.
say you're
What would you say about
Wasting
that?
her time, wasting your
So
time,
like-
wasting God's time, everyone's time.
Yeah. So like, for example, yeah, if I was in a situation so like I'm married, yeah, if I was in a situation where I feel like, oh yeah, my wife has a male, like my wife doesn't even have male friends like that. So my wife doesn't have male friends, full stop. Like the only people that she knows that are males that she interacts with are my friends. So like if all of you lot come to my yard, then my wife's there and she'll cook for everyone and she'll be like, oh yeah, that's
In
your
a
friend,
group
that's your friend,
setting.
that's your friend. But that's through me. But she doesn't have like male friends that she talks to that she knew from before me, or
But
do
what
you know
if
what
she
I
did?
mean?
What if she did?
But Carly, what
If she did, I feel like I wouldn't be comfortable with that. The
Would
same
you-
way she's not comfortable with me having female friends.
Why
that I
wouldn't you
talk
be
to.
comfortable?
I wouldn't be comfortable with that just because it's like, I know what my wife is like, but I don't know what these guys are like, and I don't know why they're out here trying to hang out with somebody else's
But you
wife.
do know what men are like, though, innit? The same way you don't know what like, but you do know what men are like.
What would you say about people who would say,
you know, like what women
That's
are like
just
as well.
your
We're not letting
own
women off. We're
insecurities.
not letting women
Say
off.
that again,
Yeah.
Fahad.
what would you say about those people who would argue against that, saying that's just a result of your own insecurities and trust issues?
If you know it is a trust issue because I don't trust him. Yeah. I don't trust him with my wife. I don't trust him.
You trust her not to do anything.
I trust her not to do anything.
No, but you know what? I know why you're doing it. But like, just even if you look at outside of the Muslim context where there's no rules, everyone's liberal. Yo, the way that some of these people that aren't Muslim. I'm not saying all.
No, forget all. Don't talk about Muslim, non-Muslim. Muslims have our own trash as well, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
People in general.
But I'm saying, if you see the way some man will let their wife, okay, it's very, very rarely wife, girlfriend, and it's this thing of like, oh, you're insecure that she can't go to the,
It's nothing like that.
go out for a date with her friend. They were friends before the marriage.
That's the
or
same thing
before
that's
you were
gonna bite
girlfriend.
you in your ass 10 like that in the relationship years down.
Yeah,
like people think like people have like not been heartbroken and cheated on and all this type of stuff, but like getting caught. Fam, this is a real thing, and it happens
What's a real
when
thing?
when like cheating. It's like obviously, oh yeah, he was just friends. Yeah, we know, but it goes back to that thing I was saying. This person, especially like these men, they have such a good waiting game. They're literally like hyenas just waiting. Shoulder to cry. They're just waiting.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand how many people, especially if your wife's bad as well, how many people want and the lengths a man will go through to get with a woman. And vice versa. And it's like, when people say, oh, you're insecure. No, I just know what men are like.
It's like, what point is it insecure? It's just like, I'm not being naive.
No, I know what you're saying, but
Because when it happens, I'm trying to go to prison.
I'm far from perfect, and I'm still a man, obviously, yeah. But I'm trying to think. I can empathize with other people, but I see the lens through my reality. Yeah. I'm thinking when I was at university again. I lived with two couples at different stages. Yeah. So and the guy used to work in London from. I see him as like my big brother. And his wife was my age, at the time, 21, my age. He's in his mid-30s. And he would go to work for London from Monday to Wednesday. No, Monday to Wednesday. So Monday to Wednesday, Sunday to Wednesday, basically. I'm in the house, just me and the woman, yeah? And we live together, basically, yeah? And, like, I wouldn't even cross that. Because he's like my big brother, I'm living with.
I think that's because you're a good person. And you're not like that.
Yeah,
but
but
with
there's
Islam,
other
when it
people
comes
that
to
are.
ruling,
Yeah, no,
it's
sure,
not
of
necessarily
course.
for the individual. Like for me, I used to drink alcohol. I used to have a great time.
Yeah.
When I used to go outside, I didn't get into no fights. I used to have a good time. Well, based on that, I never got violent. I never did it. Therefore, I should be allowed to drink alcohol because I control myself. I knew what point in the night to drink water, so I didn't have a
enough. No, good
hangover.
point.
So I feel
Make
like.
sure you rebut that before they take that clip and just.
I'm done out here in the
You
Muslim
should be
community.
able to drink alcohol.
I'm done out here in the Muslim community anyway, but like obviously I don't drink it anymore. Just basically I know it's wrong, but like, I knew that there was a
Wrong
reason.
and haram.
Yeah,
Stop
Jesus Christ, yeah.
What is it? It's wrong and haram. Say it.
Yeah, but I'm saying individual rulings, they don't necessarily dictate what kind of Islam says. It's an individual situation doesn't necessarily dictate. So and you're not the only one. I'm sure there's plenty of the guys that are like, no way, I'm not going anywhere there, But you don't know that one night. Even the good guys out there, that one night let's go like when you're horny.
But then
also what happens? What's the normal thing? It just kind of happened. And you know what? In their defense, it probably did just kind of happen, and it slipped.
And it probably was one off.
So in your view, then, what's the solution?
Is don't be in a situation where it could just kind of happen.
Because
We're friends. All you three are girls now. We're all chicks. Unless me, okay,
relax.
Wait. There's three other girls here, yeah. And when I tell to Layla, come, let's go outside and go for a little drink or whatever, not drink, but like wow.
It's all coming out now.
Go for a walk to the shop to buy Zamzam water together. Yeah, that's when it's like, okay, when it's going. And you know what? If I'm married, not married, if I want to marry you, then I'm gonna take it there because I'm a man. And if I look at you that way and I want it, I'm gonna do it the halal way, the way that God had intended. If I'm not, you're not for me. Sorry.
Why do you think marriage though? I'm just a bit like
No, because marriage.
No, but I mean like
that's what women are created for.
No, Mamadou.
but I'm saying like it's like I just hate the Muslim thing of like, okay, he DM me, he wants to marry me. Just chill out, man. Where's that stage of getting to know someone
But
being
that is
cool
the
with them?
initial intention, though, because you don't DM someone, I want to get to know you, do you want to marry them? No.
No?
It's
Sometimes-
like-
sometimes-
no.
no. Sometimes you DM someone, I actually want to see if we're compatible.
No,
you guys
you're missing my point. I'm saying it started off. It started off with
Oh
like.
no, of course.
You started off thinking, if this goes well, I'll get married. Meaning you didn't DM her to find out how good of an engineer she was. It's
have
like,
you guys heard of the concept called courting before?
yeah.
Do we believe that there's enough Islamic agreement for courtship,
Of
courting
course.
to happen?
Yeah,
in it? So it doesn't necessarily have to instantly go straight to marriage automatically,
No,
right?
definitely not. You got,
No, but Muslims, to be honest, Muslims
But then
are.
in the court,
and that's because you have to make this big leap of like, here's the haram, here's halal,
Why
here's
is it a
that.
problem?
We have to just go baps because that's where halal is. It's like, no, all this
Why
is
can't you just
halal
court
too.
someone, and if you find out that it doesn't work, leave?
And in the courting thing, one thing that's important is that both parties need to know that you're courting each other, you know. It's not that the one person is sitting down thinking, this is my friend, and the other person's thinking, yes, I want to get to know this girl,
Yeah,
I want to
you gotta
marry
be
her.
mature and
Or vice
communicate.
versa, when the guy's
Yeah, there
just
has to
thinking,
be
yeah, this
mature
is my friend,
communication.
and then the girl is thinking, this is my future husband, or let me come and prepare my wedding, and I'm going to name
Why
my
are
twins
people-
this and that. Like, both parties need to know what's going on, and I feel like
And
that
then you
is-
bitter when you
that
get to
is-
someone.
That is the thing that is missing in a lot of gender interactions, and that's where it goes
My
wrong.
question
Not
is-
even courting,
Understanding.
just intentions.
Intention.
Like a man
Knowing-
will like
knowing
a girl,
that you're courting.
a man will like a girl, or a girl will like a guy. Instead of her to tell him, I like you, or instead of him to tell her, I like you, they'll be here playing games. Oh, can you call
Because
me to talk
everyone's
to me about this? Oh, we should link up to discuss this. Oh, this,
be straightforward,
and then
innit?
you
Just be real.
end up in a situation where one person's creepy to the other person, or this
To
person's
be honest,
abusing this person.
let me echo that because I'm telling you, girls, right now, yeah. You see, I'm studying, DMing me about a fiqh question, then trying to slide in afterwards. It's not the way to my heart.
But then again, you can understand these people's struggles because if, like I said before, this is halal, single, and whatever, there's halal, married, here's courtship, what should be allowed. In it's a very vast space, you can see. But if you gotta like, I gotta pretend like I was doing halal, and then we're there.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we source through conversations like this? Is understanding that this area right here, with guidelines, and they're not that strict, you can get to know them.
The only guideline is don't be alone.
Communicate. But then again,
guideline
even on the flip side, is it not? Because in the day and age that we live in today, the way marriage is looked at, oh my God, it's this big day, it's not like that. To say to someone, yo, listen, I'm feeling you, I'm like, you know, these are my intentions, or you say,
Yeah,
it's a bit
exactly.
too much.
No,
not because
but you don't have to do it like that.
in reality, it's not too much, but the way it's coming across is like,
You don't have to do it like
I'm
that.
saying it's the fear. It's
How would
people
you
do
do
it.
it
It's
for
the
her?
fear of rejection. Like the other day, like I remember, because I don't mind being rejected or whatever. I messaged a girl, and I remember I said, "Lord, let's go get a coffee." Again, this was me gonna do the whole courtship thing. I said, "Let's go get a coffee." When we started speaking, I remember at one point it was. I think we said something, and like I thought she didn't know that. I was like, no. It's a coffee, but it's with the intention of getting to know you like that.
I'm not trying to be a friend.
Like, I'm not trying to be, like, I don't need you for that. Like, obviously, I've already said, like, I don't find women funny. I'm joking. But no, but it's like this thing, like, I have my friends for that. And it's like, and again, I have my female acquaintances that I'll see when I see them. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, it's not that deep of a...
And maybe if there were more men coming out just saying straight to the woman, yo, listen, this is what time of day it is.
And you know how many women would respect that?
I think
It doesn't have to be straight away though. Like, look, why can't you just
But
message
it
somebody?
saves the miscommunication if
But
it's not right away.
let's say now, you reply to somebody's story that you're feeling, and you get into a little conversation, have a little banter, and then when you feel like, okay, she's matching my energy now and bantering back with
Second
me.
or third day or fourth,
Yeah,
fifth day
and
of
you
talking.
not even after one long day of talking.
Yeah, that's
or
what I was
two days,
talking
Then
about.
you can say, okay, look, listen, this is a situation. I'm feeling you.
Let's meet up.
Not even meet up. Like, do you feel the same way? Because if not, I'm not interested in anything.
Exactly,
other than
and that's
I don't think
what I was
there's
talking
anything
about.
that-
I feel like that's
Show me a more halal way than that.
That's how I got married, didn't it? That's how I got married. So it was a thing where me and my wife were following each other.
She married you. Like,
No, because I took that flight. So and I brought her back with me.
made you take that flight.
Let's just discuss this.
Come on, collect
But
your
basically, it was a thing of, okay, so we were both following each other on Instagram, replying to each other's stories here and there, whatever. A day now came, we had a long conversation. We were just talking, and then we realized how similar we were in a lot of our viewpoints, especially the way we approach marriage and we thought about it, whatever. She was like, okay, you got 3 more conversations to decide if you want to marry me or not.
She said that, yeah?
Yeah, she dropped it. She was like,
stuck it on him.
She was like, let's just let's
the
not
sweat
waste.
in.
She was like, let's not waste time. And I appreciate that response because it could have been a whole thing of 4 months of back and forth, this, that. She was like, listen,
back and
you're
forth.
not here to waste time.
Having
I'm not here
relationship
to waste
problems
time.
without the relationship.
Without the relationship. We're both grown adults, we're both Muslim. We can't really do anything unless we're married. So do you feel like we could marry each other? Within 3 conversations, let's decide, and then we'll try and take the steps to get married. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we go our separate ways, kind of thing. So
I got a
after the 3
question.
conversations, I was like, okay, cool, bismillah. Flew over to LA, met her dad. We did the nikah. It's working so far, nearly a year, alhamdulillah. And it's like, I feel like it's easy if both parties involved are cool and both families as well, I guess, are cool with that situation. Because the families is also another barrier that makes people like...
That's a whole different podcast.
That's a whole different podcast.
2 people want to get married or 2 people are feeling each other, then their families now jump in because, oh, well, he's not from our part of the world, or she's not from our part of the world, or you don't have your master's degree and your mortgage deposit yet, and you don't have da-da-da-da-da, and it stops them from getting married. And then it's
Which
like,
then
so now-
opens the doors
so
of
now-
zina.
So then now you're in a situation where the parents are now blocking them from getting married, but they don't block them from dating, they don't block them from seeing each other. So if they commit zina, whose fault is that? Because they wanted to do the nikah and the parents are the ones that are stopping them, or their culture is the one that's stopping them,
so it's
or their bank account
parents.
balance is the
I have
one
a
that's
question.
stopping them. Like,
I have a question.
what do you do in those situations as well?
I have a question. What do you guys think about arranged marriage in the 21st century?
I think it can work.
I think it
It can
can
work.
What's the difference from an arranged marriage to...
No, I'm talking about this. Let me
What's the
give you
difference
an
from an
example.
arranged marriage when your boy going...
Your boy introducing
like,
you to
yo, I know
someone?
this
No,
girl,
I'm talking about this
da-da-da.
type of arranged marriage.
Arranged,
right?
arranged,
No,
right?
I'm talking
Not
about
forced.
arranged where the man does not know who the woman is at all
Until he meets her.
and finds out like a week before marriage.
Different-
or-
No,
that's
no,
forced.
that's forced, bro.
No, that's
he's
not
consented. He's
They both
consented
consent.
to
How can you say it's a
If
week
they
before
both
then?
But he's consented. He's like, yeah, alright, I'll get married. I'll
I'll get married
I'll
to
get
the person
married to
I don't
someone
know.
I don't
You know,
know.
because she's
Yeah,
my mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Somebody
I
says
feel
she's
like,
my
do
mom.
you feel like you guys can get married to somebody that you don't know?
marrying this woman,
Do you feel like you could get married to someone that you don't know?
I feel like
Could you do it?
Never.
Could you do it?
I don't think anyone in the world could do it.
But that's wrong.
I
No,
man.
a lot of
could
people do.
I could do it. I could do it, and let me tell you why.
Please.
I feel like you can do it if the expectations of the marriage are not as high as people make them out to be. Meaning, once you get married to this person, if after a week you don't like them, you can say, nah, we're gonna get divorced. Or what? Do you know what I mean? Because I've seen marriages like that. I've been in places, yeah, for example.
That
nothing wrong with that.
just brought me to carry on.
I've
finish the point.
seen marriages like I have a friend that he got married to a woman. He's not my friend, he's an acquaintance. He got married to a woman. I'm not gonna explain that. But basically, he got married to a woman, yeah. They were married for 3 days. After they had never met before, their families were the ones that connected them together, whatever. When he went over there now, he got married to this girl. 3 days, they realized that they weren't compatible. They got divorced. Everybody lives their lives.
the
He got
world
married to
carried
her
on.
And the world carried on. But when you come from a culture or society where people are like, well, you
Shaming
picked out this
divorcees.
random person for you to get married to, and you have to stay with them until death. And when they die, we're gonna throw you onto the pyre with them. When they, no, like, it's not. Do you know what I mean? That is not.
That
productive.
brings
So
us
I feel
nicely into the last
No,
topic
I was gonna say-
of divorce. What did you want to touch on?
Before the last thing, and this is the thing when you're more open with that type of mentality, is the fact of there's a lot of times where, like, sex for me is a massive part of the relationship. It is. I'm not gonna go into percentages, but it's a very big part. And it's a thing of, shut up. It's a thing of like, if you get with, like, what if you get with someone, and this is on a woman's perspective, and he can't satisfy you sexually? How are you gonna know?
We're going to go through the divorce, then we're going to jump into sex and end it on a nice topic. So just before we get to that, which is a very
So
good
we're gonna
point.
talk about sex at the end?
All right, Amor, we're
I
going
wanna
to talk about
talk-
sex. Jesus. Yes.
You said I couldn't do it the whole last podcast.
Well, it's a very important point about divorce. I'm looking at the time here. Divorce, the way that the stigma of it, and it's again a great point that kind of Umar mentioned about. Briggs mentioned about the stigma of a divorcee, of the expectation of a marriage. Like if a woman gets divorced, like, well, what did the woman do wrong? As opposed as to not just knowing that they weren't meant for each other. And for me, I've always looked at marriage like, and I know it kind of is going to pop a lot of bubbles out there who's kind of been, watching a load of Disney and they've been, and I'm not taking shots because I thought the same thing, and we've all been brought up with the same understanding of kind of marriage and expectations. But you think of this like you're meant to find the person and they're going to be number one, you're going to ride off into the sunset with them, etc., etc. So when that dream fails, it's like, oh my God, I'm a failure. What's going on? I can't keep a man, or a guy.
I wanted to have my first one to be my last one.
Yeah, my first one, the last one. All these kind of memes.
life.
That all music. Like all music is all reinforcing the same thing. And most people like they aren't monogamous like in terms of like, oh, it's just this one person. It's like you're monogamous with like multiple people because you're trying to find that one. Like here is the what's the thing the
crux.
The way the cookie crumbles, there isn't a one. There is not a one. It does not exist. It's been told, you've been told that this thing exists, and because it doesn't exist and you never find it, you're constantly searching, you're constantly not happy with the situation you're in. You think that this
always think there's going to be
this knight in shining armor is going to come, or this Wonder Woman is going to, and she's going to meet all of your needs. And not only do you enter the relationship with these incredible, ridiculous expectations of what the other person can do for you, or the way that they're going to make you feel. And that's going to be a big part as to why the marriage fails, because of your expectation of what is a marriage. What is the woman going to give me? What is this situation? Because I'm looking on films and it's meant to be like this, and we're meant to be like, what's the film that we looked at? Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis, and that's how we're meant to be. I'm meant to do all these fun things. I'm not saying that marriage is dead, because obviously it can have all these things, but let's add the element of reality.
But imagine friends with benefits, but they just had in the car at the beginning.
And that's what I was going to say. The way that I've come to understand marriage now is it is essentially like the way that the non-Muslim world views this boyfriend-girlfriend. Like, hey, I like you, you like me. Are you my man? Yeah, we're a thing. You know.
Isn't marriage sacred though?
It is, and it's made. I would say it's made sacred.
Okay, no, that's fine. Islamically, it may not be sacred, but like, wouldn't the idea of upholding the viewpoint of it being sacred enable both people?
What does that mean? What does it mean?
What does it mean to be sacred?
So that it has a connection to the divine. That it's a vehicle for two people to get to know each other, but also get to know God.
That's the intention. But if it flops, it flops.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the thing. And
you're
who's marrying somebody? And we're gonna get to God together. Isn't that a journey for yourself to take?
Not necessarily.
I think it's a nice thing to get to.
But I don't think people who get together.
I don't think is it like a huge priority for people.
I don't think
like
it's
that?
not. Do you know what it is? I feel like there are some marriages that are like that, and there should be
I'm not saying
marriages
all
that
marriage should be
encourages
like that. I'm
but
not saying
not
that.
all marriages are like that, because the Prophet ﷺ said you can marry someone for their wealth, you can marry someone for beauty, you can marry someone for lineage, or you can marry them for deen. But the best thing is to marry them for deen.
So
that doesn't rule out the other
No,
three.
I'm not
So there's
saying
gonna
that.
be people that are gonna get married to each other because it makes financial sense.
Yeah.
There's gonna be people that are gonna get married to each other because they're sexually attracted to each other and they're physically attracted to each other. But there are gonna be people that are married to each other because it's an alliance between two families.
Yeah, and I got a
we've
question
seen the
for
Prophet
each of
ﷺ
them.
himself have those different kinds of
What
marriages.
happens when you marry for wealth and the wealth goes? Does that mean the marriage then therefore crumbles?
But if it does, so
And if it crumbles, you move on
I feel
and you
like
marry someone for
I feel like that.
You know what?
I feel like on a.
Do you think that
I feel like that's because you're translating nikah to wedding and marriage.
I'm not.
as the Western term concept.
Nikah is a legal process, and I mean, Mamadou could correct me if I'm wrong. Nikah is a legal process. I'm talking about marriage here. On a concentrated level, no. But when you propagate this onto a massive level, you have massive issues. You destroy the family home, then you have kids that
But
no
is
longer
the family
know.
home not destroyed already anyway?
So you destroy more.
Me personally, most of my friends and most of the people that I know, I don't want to draw people out in it. We don't come from like stable homes.
Me neither.
From broken homes. Do you know what I mean?
I don't
like
come
this
from a
whole
stable
thing of if we propagate that marriage, it should be like this. It's gonna destroy the Muslim family. The Muslim family is in shambles already anyway.
honest.
Like the amount of tea that we know about different.
Which
families.
goes back to my
Do you know
point,
what I
a
mean?
lot of these relationships are failing because the men can't sexually satisfy their wives.
That may be
We'll get to
one
that.
of
Yeah.
many
We'll
reasons.
get to that.
One of many reasons. But
So you need-
when you say marriage
For me,
is
I believe the
well,
biggest thing is the expectation. I think that you believe, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah, please.
that the end of a marriage is like somehow gains God's displeasure. Like, oh, you would have
No,
got more
no, that's
brownie
a-
points if
I
you'd
don't-
have stuck it out.
No, that's a-
Because when you said
some
about,
people do
because
believe
when
that.
you said,
Some
because when you
people
said,
do
fabricate.
yeah, a lot of people say that. But when you
I'll
said,
explain my
oh,
point. Go
if you marry her for wealth, then the wealth goes, and then you divorce. All of us said like, oh well, it ended then. You was like, no, man, it's got to be the sacred thing.
No,
I was like,
I didn't say it for that. I said that on a larger scale, when you have people who marry for wealth, when you have people who marry for family ties, when you have people who marry for looks, if the looks wane, marriage over. What happens when that happens on a large scale? You have everyone just getting divorced, and then it creates a sort of like a social chaos, a social.
Not really, because
already
those
happened.
divorced
But then, and then
people-
on
and that's
top
the
of
thing.
that, I'm saying.
yeah.
My point, what I meant by the whole idea of marriage being a journey or a gateway to the divine, is that I look at marriage or relationships as a form of yoga, as a form of practice, in a way of deepening myself and helping my partner deepen who
It's
they
called
are.
Kama
as well.
Sutra.
Because for me, a relationship is by far the greatest mirror that you'll ever have, because that person is going to reveal to you, that Briggs, you can come on record, that your partner's revealed to you things in yourself that you weren't aware of beforehand.
And many
right?
people can reveal
But
many,
I don't-
many,
but-
many,
but-
many
but-
things.
but-
and that's
But
the
wait,
type of
how
person
many
you
mirrors
are,
have
Mark.
you looked
that
in
even
your
if you married
life?
them for
Wait,
their
hold
looks?
on. How many mirrors have you looked in your life? You don't have one mirror that you've been using from when you were born until now.
No,
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
100%,
so this
but
whole thing of
I'm
fear
not-
of divorce and stigma of divorce,
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
that-
we need to get rid of
This
that
is why
because
people are
No, but I
staying
feel
in
like-
failing marriages.
No, if your
and,
marriage
and,
is
and they say,
failing-
oh, my parents have been together for 60 years. Is your mum
I
happy?
think there's a few issues here. One being that we've kind of taken the Christian concept of marriage and Islamicized
that's
it.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Catholic,
So
the
kind of
Catholic-
like till death do
Yeah,
us
talk
apart.
on that.
So till
yeah.
death do us apart isn't a concept that exists within our tradition.
It isn't.
100%.
The word nikah literally means to make. This don't get me wrong. All you said is valid. All these things can come out, and all these things are ideals. And religion always push what is the ideal situation. The ideal situation will be a man is a
come
good
together.
father to his wife.
Yeah.
A man is a good father because the Prophet said, I am the best amongst the best of men are those who are best to their women folk, and I am amongst those people. Prophet never hit his wife. You know all these issues that we have. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Islam and religion will always push the ideals. However, we have reality, and law will always deal. Law will you have spirit of the law, letter of the law. Letter of the law will be very cutthroat
Yes.
and very just to the nitty gritty of it. What is happening in society, and how does the law address it? It will be one of two. It will be just one thing. This thing. Men have urges, women have urges. How does it make it? How do we do it in a way that's pleasing to God?
Yeah.
Have a contract. That's it. And what I mean, the contract you can specify.
It's so simple.
What does that mean? The
Doesn't
contract.
that remove the spirit of it? Where does love take? Where you know?
Where are you getting the idea? Where in the
I
Quran
agree.
or the Hadith?
No, I agree that the legal process.
It
is
sounds
really
like a
simple.
romanticization
but-
of marriage, and it's like we could do this. That you trying to get to God, I'm trying to get to God, go together. It's like
It's possible, right?
it's possible,
can, and
but
that's if
did
you
God,
find
the
two
person that you,
like-minded
the,
people.
Don't
Don't
limit marriage to
not.
just that
No, of course
interpretation.
not,
That's
of
what we're
course not.
saying.
And I
Because there's
agree
some
with you
people
on
that
that.
are just looking at the other person and be like, "What, you look bad. Let me marry you."
Exactly.
And that's
when she
and that
starts
is
looking
as far
bad,
as
then
that's
no,
as far as their
but when she
relationship
start-
will go.
when
But when she
There's
starts
other
looking bad and the
people- it's
relationship
beginning
goes,
point.
then, so
Then
what's
you
the
guys-
problem
then
with
they
that though?
split.
Okay, so when
Then they
she
part
stops
ways.
looking bad, then they just part ways.
But what's wrong with
it's
that
not-
though?
it's-
But
it's not
wait,
even
what's
that
wrong
as a
with
fact.
that?
That's the beginning part.
I think you're looking at it in a way like this guy that he's trying to think of. This guy's parting ways is like, yeah, you're buff now. Nah, you're not buff. Go away. If the man was fulfilling the rights of that the woman has upon him, i.e.,
Is that not
like,
going to break someone's heart?
If they love each other,
not- it's
if
not
they
gonna hurt
develop,
that
do you know
person.
what it is? Imagine the initial attraction for the person, the people was a physical attraction.
Yeah.
Then they enter the relationship, they get to know each other,
I
they
li-
discover
I
each
literally
other's
might say that.
characters,
Yeah.
and then they realize, wow, you can take me to God, I can take you to
What
God.
if you don't- what if they don't
Then
realise
continue,
that
Then
and
they
she gets
continue.
surrounded?
Then they continue that.
You know,
then
I
they
feel
continue
like
that
what you're
journey.
saying, Briggs, here is is the ideal, but I think what Muhib's saying is the reality, because people, in order for this to really work, and in order for you to marry somebody, if you do marry somebody just based on their looks, and then she stops looking like how you want her to look, so then you part
But in
ways.
reality-
That's
but-
life.
but in reality,
People are not
is
just gonna
anyone marrying someone just based on their looks? I don't
No,
think
but I'm
anyone
saying
really
if
is.
somebody
No,
did
that was
that,
just a case.
If
innit?
somebody
The
did that,
thing is that the
But because
Muhammad
I'm saying
Sallallahu
that-
said that was the beginning point. And he said that's a beginning point, meaning that can draw you in. And then a lot what you find with people in general, the more you let them be who they are, the more you learn, the more beautiful they become. When you find what they're passionate about, when you start to peel the layers back. I know women that, again, like we've all said, that they're not, again, they might not be that attractive at the beginning. You start to learn more about their character, they literally become more beautiful, and you fall in love with that person.
And on the flip
But
side,
beginning
on the
point-
flip
And on the
as
flip
well.
side, there's people who look good.
Yeah, and then
and you realize that they're mad.
Exactly.
And you have to leave
And so all
for
that-
your own safety.
all that romanticizing.
I'm not romanticizing.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with romance. I'm saying
That-
someone
yeah,
might, a
that's
girl might
different.
look at you, like if you haven't spoken and they can't see you the way you dress, and they're like, you know, Hip, you are really good looking.
Yeah.
Then they find out you do yoga and you do Kama Sutra and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like, oh, there's more to this person.
Yeah.
And they fall in
Yeah.
love with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
That's
yeah, they're
ideal.
good looking.
That's
and it's like,
ideal.
and again, but that's usually how it works. And the thing is,
Can I share a story?
No, but the thing is, when you constantly have sex with someone and you keep on exchanging that energy, it's a different thing that you start to get connected to. And that's why I don't have this thing like obviously back in the day. It was like if you would usually like this casual sex, I believe you keep doing it, you can actually fall in love with anyone.
I agree with what you're saying. Let me share a story. I was with the Sheikh from Mauritania, and someone in the room was like about 37 years old and hadn't been married, had never been married before, and was really struggling to find someone. And he was really upset and emotional, and the Sheikh turned around and said to him, "Don't worry, you'll find someone, I pray for you," so on and so forth. He goes, "But if you do find someone and it doesn't work out, then just leave, because we don't believe in this whole death, what's it, death
Till death do us apart.
till death do us part, oh my love, you're my only love. Allah and His Rasul should be generally, truly integral to your love and to your survival as existing as a human being." And he goes, "Divorce is very simple. If it doesn't work out, then say, move on." And when I looked at that and I took a deeper look at it, and I said, you know what, maybe it could very well be a case-by-case situation in it. You wouldn't give that advice to masses. You'd give that advice to someone who may need it. And I agree with what you're saying, and like marriage is not necessarily this one track, but I do look at marriage as a cosmic and as a cosmic and social
I
ideal.
feel what you're saying, but the problem is, I think if you follow what you're saying to logical conclusion, what you get is then the stigma attached to divorce.
There should not be a stigma.
No, there's stigma attached to divorce,
But
and then you have women. So you have this rhetoric that
Because you failed in your cosmic.
You failed in your qadr now.
Yeah,
this
your
man was
mission.
divine for me.
I can see that.
And that woman
Good point.
I'm sticking with this man no matter what. He beats me out, but this is what
I
Allah
don't
ordained
agree
for
with
me.
that.
And that's my.
if I just
I
like.
should just
Or
endure
that
it.
he beats me up, but he teaches me about Allah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
now it's
This is my issue with
Okay,
that.
that's fair.
And that's why I feel
That's
when you
interesting, I like
romanticize
that,
it,
yeah.
that's
Especially
what
when you bring
that's what
religion
happens.
into it, because now it's like you've got the guilt of like, oh, God's gonna think this about me, so I've got to stick with him, even though I don't like him.
Exactly.
And, I'm not getting the good, and
Stuff like
all
divorce
that kind of
shakes the
stuff.
arsh. of-
Because I think what
Yeah.
Mohib's saying is what most people view as what marriage is.
Exactly.
But we know that
But in reality,
divorce
it's just the same
increasing,
as
it's on the incline.
just
so
boyfriend and
it's not working.
girlfriend. And to put that more into context, not
Just a halal
in the way
relationship.
like, because in boyfriend and girlfriend, like obviously like it's just you get together, do it, there's no rights, but you have rights over her, she has rights over you. It's a contract, so there's been witnesses. It's like again like
Islam is
you made
beautifying
it really like beautiful and simple of like men have urges, women have urges, they come together. How do we kind of wrap that all up and make it away? You do a contract. That is it. Everything else is just added.
Yeah.
So if you can remove that and strip that, you could be a lot more free to move around,
100%.
try and find someone, not feel bad if it didn't work out. Because at the end of the day, if you went home to your mom and said, "Oh, me," or if you did have girlfriends back in the day, or me and Becky, broke up, like, "Oh, babe, like, oh, really? She was really nice." Or me and Daniel broke up, like, "Oh, no, you're right. Yeah. Put the kettle on." Me,
And if you look
me and Abdul got divorced. What? No, go back. My people, we never did this. We wrote it out. We're the real G's, like staying in like 68 marriages, and we were depressed the whole time. But we got the years under our belt, so we can put aside. No. That's not what it was meant for.
And it's the way that it's in
And
the
it's like the
approach,
way the
innit?
Prophet did it.
It's in the approach. So it's like I look at this situation and it's like me and my cousin, for example. So like, I'm married. I've done any kind of I have my wife. We're not legally married. We've done Islamically married. My cousin has been in what year is it? 2019. He's been in a 7-year relationship or an 8-year relationship with his girlfriend. He's not Muslim. So we've all been in the house together. My grandma's there, me, my cousin, his girlfriend, my wife, and it's like the way that they live and the way I live is exactly the same. Because they live together in the same apartment. They both go to work, they both they take the holidays together, he brings them around the family. Same thing with me. I did in the car and then I brought my wife into the family. We live together, Literally, legally, according to Western law, we're in the exact same situation.
The only thing
is
of
that I
that
said
contract.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in mine and he's not Muslim, so
But
he didn't.
I say what you and your wife, the way you're in a better situation is because you're protected. There are people that witness the marriage, so they know you're together. They
But the
know
thing is-
that she has rights over you. So if you try and do anything dirty to her, and it's like,
But my cousin's in the exact same situation because with their relationship, his parents know about it, her parents know about it. They both know that they live together. If for tomorrow, for example, he decides to do something crazy, everyone will be like, "Yo, what happened?" And sometimes even there's more justice.
It's
in
better
their
if it's written
situation.
down though. If it's just family, like you can't be like, "Well, I didn't sign up for anything. We're just together." It's better when it's written down.
But
Just like if we get into
people are in
know where
Niqab
they
and it's
stand.
written down and they're still beating up their wives.
I mean,
people
just
are in Niqab
technically,
and-
it's better if me and Mama do get into a business, situation. It's better if we write it down. This is what it is. You lend me this
'cause
money.
it's terms.
But my point
Obviously-
wasn't even that though. My point was that the fact of if tomorrow they break up or if tomorrow I break up, she doesn't have stigma attached to her because, I was in a 7-year relationship and it didn't work out. Whereas in the Muslim community, for example, my wife might have stigma
She would
attached
have
to her
her own
because
stigma.
she was married,
but
she
she might
was
have her own
married,
stigma, though.
and she's divorced
No,
now.
but she
and the
might have
husband
her
divorced
own.
her.
She might have her own stigma.
Yeah, but that's from other
7
people's
years.
stigma.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Everyone was
I'm
cool
saying,
with it.
I'm
Just
talking
wanna
about
be
a
cool with it.
societal problem.
I don't know
because
about
it's like
that,
now,
yeah.
it's like
everyone
now,
was
when
cool
you
with
If you're
it.
heartbroken, you're heartbroken.
No, they'll be heartbroken. You talk about
Yeah.
stigma. If everyone was like, oh, cool, it's fine, we'll get divorced. It's cool.
Life is
Because
not
that
about
would be
protecting
a
your
lot
heart.
easier
how
to deal
many
with. That would be a lot
and
easier
that's
to
the
deal
thing.
with.
How many divorcees are out here that
true.
want to get married or they're looking for
But they
people
can't.
and they can't because
been
according
married
to the
before.
society or according to culture or according to because of the way we understand nikah and divorce, they're untouchable now because they're
Well,
divorced.
listen,
Which is
it's
so
no man
so
on this
ironic.
table. It's no man on this table, and a lot of my friends do not view it the same way. As I say, if a real man, you don't care if she's been untouched or if she's been or been in this
Because
marriage.
when you step in,
yeah, it's like you show a real man. You show what
What time it is?
That's what the Prophet taught us, man.
Yeah, inshallah, you come in and
Who's first
you
married?
treat her the way that the Prophet ﷺ treated his wives, and it's like, oh, this is why I had to like go through that waste, man. I found this guy, and inshallah, may Allah make us them guys and treat our wives in that way, and that's how we can follow the prophetic way of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and make relationships better. Where it's not a community of chaos. It's one of love, and even if it doesn't go, well, it's like it's not a big deal. Amicably leave, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I
and I was going to
support
say
that.
one
do
thing. I was
support
going to
that.
say one thing to Mohib. Like,
Yeah.
heartbreak is a thing, and like
That needs to be
we're not here.
I think what I was doing, I was
because I was going to
conflating
say,
stigma.
I know it's like
I was conflating stigma with heartbreak, so I was making.
that's
that
what I mean. Because
mistake.
I'm saying like heartbreak is a thing, and I believe it's a
Yeah.
thing that we need to go through
Yeah,
like
100%.
constantly to get
Just
better.
sorry to wrap it up.
You can amicably divorce, though. I do support.
100%.
Yeah,
amicable
like, you know what I mean?
divorce.
And
Like,
we-
for example, like when you said a 7-year marriage and then it didn't work, I'm like, in my head, I'm like,
Leave then.
7-year marriage, that's like successful. 7 years of, well, maybe happiness, and then until near the end where it got a bit like patchy. And then
Unless
you
it was
separate ways.
rubbish from the first.
That's what I mean.
year.
Unless it was rubbish, then but then I'd ask the question, why was you in it for 7 years?
It's such a shame we have to wrap up.
This
though,
whole
because what about
conversation.
fighting? What about fighting through the marriage? Like you
No,
have a
and
tough time.
there's a
We'll
smart.
save that for part 2.
I'm gonna say that's.
where we get the feedback from
I'm
the
gonna cover the
viewers.
last topic there.
Sex.
Last topic on sex.
The last topic was sex.
I was gonna
mean,
say you man don't.
maybe we can.
Just quickly,
Yeah.
that's what I term the hypocrisy of the Muslim man. I find the Muslim man is like any other man's society, heavily involved in hypersexual society, and also he's naturally going to be watching pornography. Happens to people, yeah. Muslim men are going to watch pornography.
Most searches come from Muslim countries
Men,
on
exactly.
pornography websites.
Most,
Is it?
Yeah,
the most
Pakistan's
kind of
probably
viewers
number
of pornography
might
are
be
males. Yeah. My point of mentioning is that I find
Not me.
I find it quite.
I know. Not talking about me.
I find it quite strange in the Muslim society that I find it
I watch lectures.
communities. They want this woman to be in
Pure.
niqab,
Yeah.
pure,
Wrong.
very covered, very modest, which is virgin. All these kind of the following, yeah, and almost like out of society, segregation, can't see them. And then they get to bedroom, and because their fantasies
You're
of pornography,
expecting the madness.
you're expecting a Kim Kardashian in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I find it
That
very,
is
I find that kind of like
That's
practice
a
really quite strange. I think that would make a brilliant case study.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and maybe looking into why. I mean, for me, I've never really understood it. You know that I hold it, and it's nothing against women that. I don't call them like pure women, but like 'cause even that, like
What does that mean?
people that have
And
sex
that's what I mean,
impure.
like,
But like
yeah.
the whole thing of like virgin.
Very Christian as well.
Yeah,
very Christian as
For
well.
me, I don't know if it's my Jamaican upbringing or I don't know what it is, but for me, the whole thing of like a woman who is experienced and know what going in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, we can team up and we can do a lot of good stuff. The one that's like, you don't really know and awkward and shy, I got to teach you and train you. Like, man, I ain't really got time for that. You know
And
what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
thing, and when you like constantly having like sex with this person anyway, like you start to like learn like sex isn't this thing of like, oh, you're good and you're just good to everyone. There's different ways to please certain women. Certain women like this, certain women like this, certain women like it's again case by case. Once you shut up, once you like,
Go on, say it with your chest, boy.
once you keep on having sex with that individual, you start to she likes like this, she likes like this, she knows what you like, bro, and it just gets better and
That's
better
how
and
you
better
create
and
an
better.
amazing
And
relationship.
eventually it gets to a point where like you don't even have to say it. As soon as it starts, you have your fun, boom, and then like you don't want to lose that, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of the times when you find out that marriages are failing, they'll always say stuff like they don't have sex anymore, or they don't look at them in the same like the lustful way, and that's why I always say this idea of when you get married you can let yourself go. No, you can't.
No, there needs to be an
keep
element of competition.
If you go gym before you're going like before you're married, you stay going gym in the married. And like when women say, oh, now I get married, now I can get fat. No, you can't. If that's what the person was attracted to, and you have to keep up that maintenance. Keep buying lingerie if that's what he likes. And then if the man likes, groom yourself to how your woman likes. Do you know what I mean? Like sex is such a big
but not
part.
even that. But what do you expect? You're going to create a society where Muslims are so taboo, so Christian when it comes to sex. Sex is seen as dirty, virgins are seen as pure.
Right.
We've made sex such a dirty thing. We can't even talk about
Young
it. It's
kids
so
now.
taboo.
And even the positions when they try and say like certain positions are haram, I'm like, you must be having deadest.
Apparently, a woman on top is controlling the man.
Exactly, position.
Please control me.
Talking, all this stuff.
I am wired. I need controlling.
All this stuff.
Yeah, so let's actually,
It's mad that young
that's
kids
another
can't speak to
interesting-
their parents
That's
about
another
sex.
interesting topic. So it's like, what do you guys think about the Muslim community's attitude to sex?
Bro, it's backwards, fam.
It's backwards, man.
It's backwards.
100%.
Because I was shocked.
Considering the Kama Sutra was originally by Muslims.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
The original pictures of Kama Sutra were men in turbans.
No
Shut
way.
up.
Yeah, considering.
Right, these
Yeah.
pictures. No, but even the fact of that I don't know if it's a hadith about how like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have like this like the strength of 11 men and stuff like that. Like I don't want you to go like picture it and everything, but it's like that's the strength of 11 men. That's a strong human being, right? That's like I'm assuming it's very passionate, very like.
You know
it's
what I
like
feel?
you're not going to be open to that if you're just like this.
Oh, it's haram.
Oh, it's haram.
Turn the lights
Like,
off.
That was
Do you
actually
know what I mean?
one of the Orientalist critiques of Islam was that it was a very kind of sexual,
Sensual,
and
look at Jannah and
sensual
stuff like
and
that.
perverted
Yeah.
religion. That's what
That
they used to
seems
say in
sounds
the
so
19th
alien now.
And it sounds so alien from how society is today. And big up people like Habib Akande, who's doing work in the community, educating people about sexuality and all of that. We'll bring him on.
I feel like
where does it come from?
It's just reformist,
we have
pure- you know what's
exactly, we have
happened?
Jalal Institute.
There's these people, these reformist, puritanical, interpretations of the religion, right? That stemmed in because of this idea, this loss of identity. So, during time when British were going into Muslim countries and stuff like that, they felt like they had to uphold their religion even stronger and harder. And what's happened is this puritanical view has slipped in to the religion, has now become the mainstream view.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Because imagine you're like at a crossroads between a religion that has been developed, like not to say that that's the original teaching of Christianity, but the way that certain strands of Christianity had developed where sex is seen as a sin, it's seen as filthy, it's seen as impure, compared to Islam where sex is seen as a good deed, like sex is seen as
Worship.
it's worship.
Yeah.
It's worship.
You're worshipping God.
Satisfying your wife or your wife
Can you
satisfying
believe
her
And you
husband.
cannot tell me Allah is not just when
Listen,
sex
can you
is
believe that there are
worship.
families,
I worship all night.
Muslim families in this day and age that they cannot have, like daughters cannot speak to their parents about sex, cannot speak to their parents about
Of
periods.
course I can believe that.
I can
I
believe
know,
that.
but you know what's
And the
even
thing is-
stranger? But no, what's even stranger is
How
like
can
you
you
and
talk about periods?
but this is where it gets stranger. You know, if you were to say sex is worship, that it's encouraged. It's like, no, it's not.
Do
It's
it.
wrong.
Get better at it.
No, it's bad.
Learn.
Shush.
Yeah, and the thing is, why that's problematic is because in today's society, if you can't openly talk to your parents about sex,
Well, who can
you're
you
gonna
talk
go. You're gonna go on the internet. You're gonna Google. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has 4G, 5G soon. Touch road.
Yeah, he's already here.
Is it here?
Yeah, man.
Oh, granddad.
Oh, mad. See,
You got your 4Gs and your 5Gs.
I'm behind.
5G gives
I'm in
cancer,
Cairo.
bro.
We ain't got 5G yet.
5G
So it's
cancer.
like, people, because there's rising levels of pornography in the youth, rising levels of do you know what I mean, sexual perversions and all of these things, and it's because people don't have a safe
Is
space
it a
to
bad
talk
thing?
about all of these issues.
What
What?
is
It is a
People
bad
engaging
thing
in pornography.
because people.
I feel like it is a bad thing.
I feel like it's an
No,
outlet.
no,
You
no,
know
no,
why?
don't
Do
get
you
me
know
wrong.
why?
I think it's a bad
I
thing.
understand, but it's
Do you know why?
everything's going
why I
everything's
feel?
going
Do you know
through
why I
social
feel like
media
it's
now.
a bad thing? Is because pornography has
Expectations.
gone beyond the levels of not even the whole thing of expectations and da 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 da. Okay, there's the whole thing of expectations. So you're expecting women's bodies to look like this, men's bodies to look like this, and you're training your mind to be attracted to a certain type of woman that realistically doesn't exist. Women as well are training themselves to be attracted to a certain type of man that you're not gonna find everywhere. That's number one. And then number two, people forget that it's a performance. So you uphold your real sexual activity to this video that you've seen of people acting. But then beyond that even, there's all these kind of categories of pornography developing where people are pushing the boundaries. There's incest pornography. There's pornography where people look like kids. And they're not kids. They'll tell you, oh, illegal, they're legally da-da-da, but all this like, oh, there's teen, but then they look like kids and this and that. And it's like, they're pushing and all this kind of, and all the negative racial stereotypes in interracial pornography. They're saying, oh, they're depicting black people in a certain way. They depict Asians in a certain way.
And a lot of
They
the-
depict, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of the porn stars are actually, a lot of them, some
Not
recent
that
stuff.
race.
No, a lot of them have come out as they're actually slaves, meaning that they've been contracted, and that people that are contracting them are mistreating them. So, you know, watching pornography is the supporting of oppression, of traffic.
So I feel like that's where
Mad,
pornography
bro.
becomes problematic, because it's like, and you don't realize how it affects your
super
psychology.
unethical as well.
So it's
I was
like you
gonna
could be sitting down and like, as a black man, for example, you can enter a room and women will be looking at you a certain way because for the past 5 years they've been watching how black men are depicted in pornography, and that's the only interaction they've had with black men. Do you know what I mean? Or like,
Please,
look at.
no, because I've seen this straight up. So many, I'm going to call it Muslim girls now.
Yeah.
So many
Do
Muslim
it,
girls
do it.
fetishize the black man. That's so much.
This thing like get with a black
Play
guy.
with a black
I
man.
only get with black guys.
So you can take that
famous
Non-black Muslim women.
Non-black Muslim women, and,
Yeah.
and beyond the stereotype of what I want my kids to look a certain way, it's like, I know it's gonna be a sexual beast. I know it's gonna have a foot long. I know it's gonna all the stereotypes. Yeah. Whether negative, positive, whether they're true or not, that's beyond the point. All you're training your mind is to see the black man as this figure of a sexual.
The same way that you don't
Or
want women
even
to be
how
perceived as.
even how white women are perceived in the Arab world, for
Yeah.
example, because like there's white women, there's so many white women that they're like, oh well, when I go to this country, I get harassed or or men approach me because they've grown up watching pornography where American women are the actors, and so they feel like, oh well, all American women are easy to get.
Yeah.
All the
Mad.
American women like you calling them names. They like you insulting them. They like you treating, because the pornography that they've been watching is that kind of pornography. And then there's also this whole pornography of like rape and aggression and that
Why is that
encourages.
doing
And
to
on,
the
on a lesser
crazy.
level, like there's a thing like you see most youth today, or like even people our age, like when you go to people they're just like not back in my day. No, but it's like you'll see people our age or younger, like they're not having sex. Because when you masturbate, obviously that thing like you don't have any sexual inclinations after you've like busted nut, you know what I mean? So after you're done there,
Post-nut clarity.
it's like, oh cool, I don't want to do it. So these people are just doing it every time they come to that point of like, oh, I'm getting a bit horny.
It's actually recommended to
Everyone's horny, get
masturbate
wank.
if you're
And you
about
keep
to
doing, and you just keep doing that. You're lowering your testosterone count for one, so you're becoming.
Are you advocating that people that are
I'm saying
situations
if you watch porn and you keep what will happen is you will start to prefer porn than actual sex.
No, that's no.
Not
That's no.
Oh yeah,
You're right. That's
no, but I
Which is
don't
bad.
mean prefer, because
bad.
no one would ever say.
No,
porn is better than sex.
bro.
There's a whole film.
I would argue that this person has not.
There's a whole film.
I know people who in order for them to get aroused to sleep with their wife, they have to watch pornography first.
There's a whole film.
Lie.
Well, like,
Matt Damon,
no offense, I've
or
had
not,
questions
it's
like
Matt
that.
Damon, or Matt Damon, or the guy who looks like Matt Damon, and it's
He's a porn addict, isn't it?
he's like a porn addict, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and he gets the baddest things, yeah, and he can't
Yeah, that's a
leave
bad
it alone.
film. What's that
I forgot what the film was
What's
called,
that film
and he
called?
was so badly addicted to porn.
That he preferred.
It was
his
like
hand.
he
He
it was
preferred
one
his
of the,
hand.
no, what he was watching. The way he described it was almost poetic as to how he was like,
gets that
these
bad
women
thing as well.
cannot compete with this. Like when the way I open it and I can just flip through and I can have multiple tabs and
Exactly.
it's a whole.
When you're with women,
it's
only her
it's
you
a-
got.
Who's the
But
guy? It's
when
called
you're
Don John.
online-
Don John. There you go.
Oh, no,
Don John, there you
I
go.
watched a bit of it. No, sorry, I watched a bit.
That's it.
No, the
So
opening scene,
people
the
can
opening
prefer porn to an actual.
And that's
woman.
What happens
that is
now?
the problem that's
Yeah.
leading to the breakdown of relationships.
No,
But look at where we're going now.
Relationship.
Let me just share this with you.
Oh, okay,
But look at where we're going now. I read the other day, this guy posted on Reddit the other day, he said, it's official, I've no longer had sex for a year. I've not had sex for a year now. The reason why is because I recently purchased a VR headset, and now I watch virtual reality porn, and it's
Oh, do they do that
set
now?
me up. Yeah, it's set me up now, and I don't feel like I'll ever need sex ever again.
But even
Oh my God! Did you know in 2019 they did VR porn? Oh my God! Yeah, you've been knowing, bro.
All them categories you say, I was like, I never heard them.
You've been knowing.
I said, even that thing of when he was talking about I don't
Disgusting.
need sex anymore.
So then-
you have to understand how it has a ripple
Why is your
effect
mouth like-
on young boys and men. You have to understand, like I think we'd all agree on, and maybe women would agree on that. The fact that the men are decreasing in what not what a man should be, a testosterone, masculinity, the things that majority of women are attracted to, because when you have testosterone in you, when you like you're not wanking all the time, blah blah. it actually goes.
wanking.
It goes into and why? Because my white side talking. It goes into you start to pursue other things because when you masturbate. You're happy now. When you masturbate, your mind doesn't actually know that your mind thinks that you've had sex.
Yeah.
So when you masturbate 4 times a day, your mind genuinely believes, oh, I've had sex with like 4 women today. Especially if you keep changing the categories. I've had sex with 4 different type of women. So I must be of a status where women are so attracted to me that I'm happy in the. And what it happens is you don't try to improve your life. You don't like. Testosterone is such a good thing when you have like a lot of it. You want to go gym, you want to work on your business, your career, you'll be a better person in bed, or you'll be more present with the people you're talking to. It literally improves your life.
Have you heard of NoFap? Reddit.
NoFap.
NoFap.
I try it. Yeah, I try it.
That's what he's talking about.
That's what I'm talking
not
about.
doing
Like,
it,
when,
and then you get that.
I say like how like
superpowers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I've tried to do it because I used to be one of you back like I used to do it every day. Sometimes 5 times a day.
Do 4 times a day. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers
up, man.
Wow.
No, but I'm saying, I used to be like that, and I'm saying when I started to practice this, I'm like, you know what? Let me stop.
When you started to practice Islam,
and you know what? And it's like stop.
Repetition not gonna get you know. Blood.
Baraka Boys, the greatest podcast on there. If you're watching, please leave a like. Carry on.
And like when I stopped watching porn and I started to use that testosterone and that energy, because that's what it is. Like when you're horny, you feel so strong. You feel like you just like there's clear like you know you're present with everything. It's like you can.
When you're horny, no, listen. When you're horny, when you're repressing.
When you're horny, but for me, maybe I'm saying the wrong word.
When you're
then.
present.
Like when you're like just pumped up.
Yeah, because you're no fapping.
what you want to say?
But the thing is,
What's the point you're making, man?
There are benefits of staying away from pornography.
The major benefits.
The major benefits.
Pornography and masturbation.
No. And that's the thing. It's a thing.
What?
Let's wrap it up then.
It's a thing that's linked with porn as well because it's a visual thing as well.
For our female listeners, we do apologise.
I'm trying to help the young males. I'm trying to help the young males that have no direction.
For the young people watching the podcast 14 and below,
I think 16 minutes of it's gonna get cut.
You know, we're trying to talk to a specific audience here. So you know, if you are watching this, you know, go play Fortnite or something. Because
I was gonna say, and if you're of that age,
maybe we'll say it in the beginning.
We'll put a warning, and let's be honest, we're not trying to speak to people that are 13-year-old not having sex. Like at this point.
No, but they need to be spoken to because their parents
about this topic.
I discovered porn at 11 years old or 10 years old, so it's like I didn't have. Was it late?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like,
oh wow.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
8, 9, yeah.
Oh wow.
I was young.
TV in it, like, and I had all the
10-minute free
like,
trial.
like, and that's the thing. So
is
you'll be
getting
put in a
cut, you know.
position like, okay, so imagine, late night now, TV comes on. Oh wow, what's that? What are they doing?
That wasn't porn.
And that's porn, bro.
Okay.
To be honest,
It's porn.
since we're all doing
Talking
this,
about
I
television,
was like
television
8,
X,
9, and I think I'm still scarred from this day. I think it was like maybe after 11, whatever, 12. I don't know what channel it was. I remember it was on TV when you had like cable, 8, 9, and it was porn, but it was like the Guinness World Record of how many men one woman can sleep with in one day.
It's on TV.
Yeah, it's like a line of people.
documentary.
Yeah, it was Channel 4. The line of women.
How do you remember that?
A line of men, we're the same age. A line of men and like 400 something, and she was on like number 400 something man that penetrated her. And I was like 8, 9 years old.
So I'm saying, and that's without you having an iPad,
Exactly,
with 4G and a phone and a So like now, the 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, they
No
all
one
have
go and
phones.
search that. I know you're
They all
thinking
have
it.
phones. They all have internet.
For documentary.
Guinness Book of World now.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like more and more, like people are getting introduced to pornography and that at a younger age, and it's something that's unavoidable in the society.
Yeah.
No matter how much you're trying to be here saying, yes, I'm doing halal life, yes, we're separating men and women in the madrasa, yes, this, that. Your kids are always at danger, and you as a young person, you're always at danger of coming into this in society and into this world. So then imagine now you started watching,
it affects your life.
and it affects your life. So imagine now you're an 11-year-old, you've come across pornography. Your parents are not like watching what you're watching on TV or on your phone. You grow up, you're watching porn all these years, and then you're being separated from women all these years. How are you perceiving women? Then when you now have interactions with women, how is that going to
All
affect
you're doing is seeing the
interaction?
scenes you watched last night.
Exactly.
How is that going to affect your interaction with women? How does that affect your interaction with girls at school?
100%.
How does that affect your interaction when
With
you
female
enter
family
your
members,
first- female family members, yeah. How does that? Because there's incest now as well that's being pushed. It's mad. The situation is mad. So I feel like one thing that we need in our communities is a more open approach to talking about these issues.
Because
That's what I'm saying. Why you trying to say, oh, stop talking about it? Like, we need to talk
when
about
they
it.
get pushed under the rug, they're going to be affecting people in the worst of ways, and it goes from you being an awkward teenager that's always fantasizing about girls to you being that teenager that touches your cousins inappropriately when no one's watching, or you being
and
that
it does happen,
and that happens
often.
To you being the uncle that touches young boys in madrasa.
Exactly. So it's like these are all issues that are all stemming from this attitude to sex, this attitude to gender interaction, and separation of the sexes is not helping. I think open discourse is something that is needed. People need to be able to talk about these issues and
Have you seen that video of that woman in India? She's dressed up all pretty. She's coming from a wedding and she's like literally moving through like a sort of remote village, and she's standing there. She's recording. There's literally 50 men standing around her. They've not seen a woman like that before. They're literally just standing in shock.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've seen it.
There's one in New York as well, which
Where
is
it's walking for 10 hours or something like that.
I mean,
I don't know
I
how.
don't know how I feel about that one.
I don't know how true it is. Or,
And we
I
as
think
men
it
as
was
well.
safe.
but I mean,
It does
it's not a
happen.
large jump in to believe that is
video
real.
No,
It
it definitely-
definitely happens to a lot
So
of
many
women.
women speak
But I've
about it.
also heard women, funny enough, I'm not trying to say, trying to justify the actions of men, like, putting themselves on women like that, but that where
The women that
if-
don't feel pretty when they don't get
when it decreased, like it actually. I'm not trying to justify
It was Aisha Curry
but
that
like
said it.
was it Aisha Curry?
Aisha Curry when she
I
said
think that was
she wasn't
similar to
getting
it, like
compliments from
because she wasn't
men.
getting compliments, and like when it decreases the horns and the beeps and the attention, it's like, oh, like am I not kind of popping as much anymore? And it's like this weird things. I thought, hold on, I thought all women hated it, and but then there's this weird kind of like, oh, because you have to play this kind of feminist card at the same time, but at the same time I do kind of like it. And then I was looking at another study, which is, I don't know if I'm going to open this kettle of fish, where it was talking about women, and took kind of in link with your kind of masculinity thing, where the amount of the percentage of women, I don't know if it was like 30 or 35% of women that have rape fantasies of a man enacting his masculinity and dominating her, and actually like just like putting his force and his energy and
the rape fantasy thing, it comes from the thing of the dark fantasy of what the woman does want is essentially that when her husband is very, very passionate in it. The thing is, when it's repressed and they're not getting that, like, again, these men that are trying to be really, really nice, like, oh, baby, do you like it like this? And it's like, okay, no, we're not doing it like that.
Yeah,
you need to be, like, and again, some women don't like it like that. Again, it's all case by case.
I mean, so I say it was only like.
And the thing is,
like
and it,
30%, but I just thought it was an
with
interesting finding.
With certain men, and I'm not saying that, like, justifying, like, fucking rape or anything. I'm just saying it's like, they have that urge to, like, they want to, like, make this like, ravenous love, or, like, if that's a word, like, to this woman. And it's like, if they are held back of that, it can lead into the dark fantasy, meaning the taboo, which is rape. On the other side of the spectrum, the women who want to receive that, again, when I say rough and hard, you guys know what I'm on about. Not when you like boxing her in her face or something, but like it's but then again, the taboo side of that, the dark fantasy, is the rape fantasy, which you're going into. But it's just going into that passion and being able to be in a safe space for you to release that passion.
If that's what you.
Exactly. If that's what you're into.
In terms of like unwanted sexual attention, that's something that is never warranted, and that's never like called for. And I feel
From
like
both sides.
from both sides.
Both sides.
And I feel like there's two major things that
What
I
if a
wanted
woman
to
dresses up
highlight.
provocatively?
Even this whole segregation thing is linked to that. Yeah.
There's two major things that I want to point to is the fact of, number one, as men, like, we need to re-educate ourselves as men in society as to how to treat women. Because it's like, okay, we're not like that, but there's hundreds of men out there who they feel like it's appropriate for them to walk up to a girl and say, yo, give me your number. If they don't give it to them, they punch them in the face. Or you have the right to grab a woman off the street and she has to talk to you. Or you have the, like, that's all mad. Like, but then also at the same time, there's a lot of women that need to be re-educated about where their value is, because women that place their value solely on their looks and the male attention that they receive, like, I feel like that's a terrible waste of potential as a human being. Like, your sole purpose in life has become, oh, do I attract male attention? Or if I'm not getting more,
And that's what you're judging your worth by.
And it causes problematic situations for other women who don't like that sort of attention, because you're now the scapegoat of, yeah, well, this girl says she likes it, so, and I've been approaching girls like this for and then now it's like your problematic, toxic, masculine behavior is being validated and it has an excuse. Like,
But this is probably the last question I want to go on, because again, this is an actual genuine answer.
we might have to split this into 2 episodes.
No, but
It's calm.
it's a genuine question. When I think it was me and Khalid that was talking about it, like this whole sexual assault thing. When it's like, okay, you don't like the catcalling thing, but if I was Jason Momoa, or if I was a really good look, or basically the man you was attracted to, you take it as a compliment. And it's this kind of thin line of like men have to kind of see themselves like, oh, am I an attractive male or not, or an unattractive male before I approach a woman? Because the thing when you said if you kind of go up to a woman, the punch in the face part was wrong, but like asking for the number, like there's nothing wrong with that.
I think this
But it's like that. It's like that.
This is where Islam comes in and helps some of these questions. It's like, because we don't come up to a woman and like objectify like that, or we don't just like shout something across the road. Because if we just, I see plenty of women throughout the day that good looking. For me to say something like, "Yo, babes," or and it's thing, do I want to marry her? Then I'm gonna go about it a different way. For me to just let her know and just like, I just want to say this and I just want to get a little bit, get a little kick off of it. This is why Islam.
Yeah,
This is why Islam is the way it is, with the rules it has, in order to help us out with these weird kind of grades. Do she like it? Maybe if I was better looking, I'd be able to do it. Maybe not. Forget all of that. Do you want to marry the girl or not? No, then leave her alone and move away. And if she's a friend within your friendship circle, that's cool. Make sure it stays like that. But the whole friendship between a man and a woman, and them being alone and all that kind of stuff, we know what Islam says about that. We could talk about this for, I guess, a long time, but we kind of need to wrap it up. Guys, like I say, this is a conversation, obviously, that we're having, but it's also kind of with you guys as well. We want to let you know, we want you to know what you guys think in the comments below. So, if you did disagree with us, agree with us, let us know in the comments below what you want us to talk about in the future, anything we didn't cover. Let us know. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, please leave a like and a comment below. We are the Baraka Boys, and this is wrapping up season 2. Wrapping up season 2. This is wrapping up this episode. Take care. Peace and blessings upon you.